Good afternoon and welcome to Tyrolit Tool School, live from Schwarz, live from Tyrol, and I must say a tropical Tyrol. Absolutely very high temperatures. It is like I would not say tropical paradise because it's too hot to be a tropical paradise. But welcome. Today the topic is gonna be radial bristle brushes. Radial bristle brushes, so everything you see here, and there's quite a large range there, is concerning the topic of today, the radial bristle brushes. Now, what are radial bristle brushes? Radial bristle brushes are a pre-blended abrasive in a thermoplastic binder. So basically, it's an abrasive in a plastic thing. That's very commonly said, where we put in some additives and then we're gonna inject it into a mold. That means you can create small discs like that, you can create discs like this, or even tools like this for angle grinder. So there's a lot of possibilities that we can do with this kind of product. So now, why? What's the point of having a product range like this? Why take on something like that is especially because of the conformability of the product. That means the flexibility of that product. Flexibility, it will adapt to very complex work pieces. It will adapt to that. You can work on complex, difficult to reach areas. You can work on geometrically difficult work pieces and reach everything that you need to touch with bristle brushes, radial bristle brushes. So it gives you that. It also gives you a good lifetime, a long lifetime, if you use them correctly. It will be user-friendly. A little bit of vibration, so it's almost vibration free. You have an absolutely great finish. These are items that will do that. So, what kind of applications? You will find manual applications, handheld tools, where you will be using that. But a lot of applications are going to be on robot or automated processes. So where you have parts that need to be finished in a specific way, and you have a lot of parts, automation will come into play and will be used for this kind of product. So they suit there absolutely. Why? Because they give a consistent finish. They adapt. They give you a good lifetime and work well for finishing purposes. So these are operations where this kind of stuff is going to be very valuable, very interesting, time-saving, and easy to work with. So, as I said, long lifetime, but you can use it also for a light deburring application, where you need to take off a very tiny burr. These are things that are possible with this kind of product. So it's a wide range of applications where you can find this kind of product. Very roughly said, it's not an entirely correct, but it gives you an idea. To me, it's like a very good alternative to wire brushes. Wire brushes used for finishing operations. You can also say, if you take a spindle-mounted flat brush with an unwoven, also that, to replace that, this is a possibility that you have with this kind of product, where you can use that to replace that kind of tools. And the benefit is, of course, if you use again, in comparison to a wire brush, you don't have wires flying off, you don't have wires where you need to be careful with. It's absolutely good and safe to use like that. So this is kind of interesting thing to that as well. Where are you going to find applications for radial bristle brushes? You will find applications in aerospace, MRO. That can be turbine blades, that can be other parts, all that kind. There's going to be a lot of applications where you will find stuff like that being used, especially also on automated processes. So that's something where this can be very interesting. That can be on automotive parts. That can be on precision casting. Precision casting, I don't mean big foundries where you have big cast iron pieces. No, precision foundry where you have high alloy parts, where you need to do fine touching of that piece. This is where you can use something like that. That can go to electronics. That can go to metal fabrication in stainless steel. That can be food industry. That can be for decorative elements where they need to just clean up a small weld. Don't touch it. Just clean it up. These are things on a small and difficult part. This is what will help there. This is what we already seen that is being used on that. That can also be on medical instruments. Surgical instruments, all the tools that they're using there, that needs to be deburred, needs to be finished. That's something where this can come into play as well. There can be implants, orthopedical implants, also there. Knee joints and all that kind of stuff. Also there you will find processes where they can use and will use radial bristle brushes. So that can go to kind of materials. What kind of materials are we going to be looking at? That can be steel, stainless steel, as I already mentioned. That can be more exotic alloys, titanium, wasp alloy, hastab alloy, all those kind of stuff. That can be aluminium, small aluminium parts, small profiles, stuff like that. These are things where those kind of materials can be used, radial bristle brushes. That can be on JFKs, composite material, carbon fibers, where they be using this kind of material in order to prepare for gluing. So they need to prepare a surface for gluing. These are things that can be used on that kind of process. Also the deburring of such composite parts is something where this can and is being used. So coatings also there. You will find stuff that can be used there. What are they going to do with it? That can be removal of, after welding, of the colorization of the color. That blue, orange, that needs to be removed. This can do that. That can be on an oxidation layer. Rust on a difficult to work piece where you just need to clean that up. Can also be used for that. That can be on sealants. Sealants in the aviation industry, like all the nuts and bolts, they are going to be sealed and you need to remove that sealer. There are parts that can be used for that. So also there, without damaging what you're working on. That can be for refining grinding marks. That can be for finishing operations, light deburring. So there are a lot of possibilities that you will see and will find for this kind of product. One of the things that I need to tell you, when you use something like that, it's a finishing tool. Even if you have a coarse grit, it's a 30, like the coarsest we have is a 36 grit, you don't want a lot of pressure. You just want to use a little bit of pressure to do the job you're doing. So don't use excessive force, don't use too much pressure, because it will not work. It will burn, it's not designed to do that. It's a finishing tool. So don't use excessive force, don't use too much pressure. Now, we also have a color code. A color code that will help you to see which color is which grain. So what we have here is a small overview of those colors. What you can do, you see, you remove with a 3650 grit, smooth 80-120, yellow, white. Then you have the finish with 220-400, brown and blue, or reddish blue. And then the finest one we have, and this is quite extraordinary, is the 6 micron and a 1 micron. So we have this great salmon color, which is the 6 micron, and this lovely green, light green, which is the 1 micron. Lovely colors for a lovely finish. There you go. The saying of today. So this is what we have as a help, as a tool to guide you through that, to see, okay, which color corresponds to which grit size. Also, there are different types. There are 3 different types on those brushes. The first one that you will see is, I'll take the bigger one, it's easier to show you, is the curved one. It's the type C is the curved one. You can see this is soft, this is very flexible. This is the most conformable that we have. This will really adapt to what kind of shape you have. Round, complex, needs to go in there. It will do that. It can do that. It's designed to do that. This is the type with the curved shape on there for difficult to reach areas or complex parts. Then we have also one which is called the angled one, TA. The TA, I'm going to show you both of them. So we have, I'll use a different color, there we go. This is the TA. You can see you have thicker fibers, there's more harder material. This is a bit more rigid, this is more stable, more stiff in comparison to that curved one that is extremely flexible, extremely soft. This is more aggressive. This is harder. This is designed to work more aggressive. It's also the most aggressive version we have. So if you combine that with the 36 grit, you have a bit more aggressive tool for working. That can be available within a range of diameters from 76 up to 152 diameter. The last thing we have, the last one we have, is just the straight version. Straight version, you can see that the fibers are just sticking out like that, just straight, which means that it is more aggressive than the curved one, less aggressive than the angled one, and it is bidirectional. As you can assume with the two others, because you see that there's a certain direction to it, this is bidirectional. You can use it in both directions. This is something that is very often used on robot applications as well. So this is in a diameter going from 203 millimeters up to 305, and is going to be used for a combination of a little bit of aggressiveness and finishing. So these are the three types we have. We even have them in a large version, as you can see like this. This is going to the biggest one we have, with also additional to that the flange that is required to mount it onto the machine that you're having. So these are the possibilities we have with that. The assortment we have is pretty wide. There's a lot of possibilities there. The assortment that we have is going from fixed spindle mounted brushes like that, fixed ones, so you don't, this is one part that you get like that, there we go, there we go. So this is one part that you get with the discs already on there. So you have between 51 millimeter, 76 millimeter, and that is all gonna be a curved version. So curved with a grit 80, 120, and 220. But there's something else. You can also get that as a separate shaft, the separate part that you buy, and you can buy discs. So you buy a pack of discs, 12 discs in a packaging, something like that. So you buy that, and you can put on as much as you need. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever. You put that on there, and you can replace them. This is, of course, I think is more practical, but customer is king, so whatever they choose, they can get. So there we have a range going from 51 up to 76, and we have a TA, as I just shown you there, and we have a TC, the curved one. Grit range is 36, 50, 80, 120, 220, 400, a 1 and a 6 micron. So a full range there. Then we also have the larger ones, 152, like the ones that we have here. 152 millimeters, curved and angled. That can be with a set of flanges. That can be one package where you get this and a couple of discs to mount right on there. Or you can get this separately and, of course, refills like that. So from 152 millimeters, TC in the full grit range. TA, the angled one, C for the curved one. And then finally we get to the larger ones, 254, like the one I've shown you before, the yellow one, the big one, up to 305 millimeters in the TC and the TS. TC and the TS, the straight one and the curved one. So that's the program that we have that is going to be available. Of course, there are possibilities in according to applications that we can play with that, but be aware there's a lot of time needed in order to develop something like that or get things organized there. Now, that's enough of the talking about what we have, what it is, and so on and so on. Now it's better to show you what we can do with it. What can we do with it? First of all, we have two bench grinders. We have two bench grinders up there that I'm going to be using for a bit of a variety of different applications. First of all, I want to deburr aluminium profile like the one I have here, where you can see that there's quite a bit burr on there. There you go. You can see that up there, this part there. I want to deburr, can be done. I have a coarser grit size on there. I have the angled version on there, so I can do that. It's not a problem. I also want to finish a part. I want to deburr. I want to finish a stainless steel part. So I'll show you a couple of possibilities that we have on the bench grinder that I have here. Alrighty. Also, when working with tools like that, what I like is, or what is interesting to look at, is speed. Speed has an influence. We do have recommended speeds. We have a maximum speed. It makes absolutely sense. One of the things that I want to say about recommended speed is also you can play with that a little bit. Play with that, what do I mean? If unfortunately, those machines, they have only one speed, so I can't play with that. I would love to, but I can't. So speed can influence how a disc like that, a wheel like that, behaves. If it runs at full speed, what happens is the wheel will close itself. So it's going to be a bit more aggressive. It's going to be more taking off a little bit more material, especially if you work with the angled version, like the one here and the one here. If I reduce that speed, the brush will open itself, especially if you have a straight version or a curved version. It will open itself and will allow you to work even with the tiniest of profiles, like the one I have here, the tiniest of profiles, so to get into the profile and finish also the bottom of that. And this is something that is absolutely, absolutely very interesting. So it's an advice that I give. If you have a machine where you can have a variation on speed, it will help you to get to a certain process to get the result you want. Okay? First of all, we're gonna deburr. The straight one works already. The 50 grit. And if you look at that part now, yeah, there we go. There we go. You can see that all that is gone. Thank you very much, Michael, for showing this. This is absolutely very good. So you can see that's all gone. And there was, of course, it's just a very light aluminum part, but it works. It takes it off, and this was the 50 grit straight, does that. No problem whatsoever. Let's go and see if we can get into that profile with the 120 grit, the white one, the curved one. Goes in there. I can also finish the outside. Deburring. Yeah, works a little bit because it's a very light burr. It takes it off. And there we have the finishing on the inside. You can see the difference there to the part there. You can see that difference there. So finished on the inside, even at the bottom, and then also done the side and slight deburring as we have there. There we go. So these are possibilities we have on aluminium profiles. Now a little bit more aggressive. We're going to go with, for instance, this part here. I want to break that edge. So now I'm going to go to the more aggressive versions, the TA. I have the 36 grit and I have an 80 grit on there, and see what that does on this part. You already hear the difference. Breaks the edge. Now even with the more aggressive one, 36 grit. Breaks the edge of that stainless steel part. I can even remove a little bit of that uneven surface and have no mistakes there. You can see, there we go. These are possibilities you have with a part like that. Also, normally, like this caulk, also if I want to deburr that, because it's worn down, you can see that there are, on that part, there we go, on that side, you can see the burrs there. This is something that can be removed, or you can try to work on that. As you can see that I already done that. So you can try and remove burrs like that as well, and clean up the inside of the caulk. So let's give that a try. There we go. 36 grit. And as you will see, the burrs that were there, they're gone. You can still, on this side, you can still see them, but they have been removed on that part. There you go. Now, if I want to go inside, I need something more flexible. So I'm going to go back to the white one, the curved version, to go slightly on that one on the inside and clean it up a little bit. And then you immediately see what happens there. Are there other possibilities to do that as well? Yes, of course. I'll show you that now. Like, if you don't have a bench grinder at your disposal, what you also can use is a straight grinder. A straight grinder, everybody knows that, works very easily. Again, with an 80 grit on there, curved one, and to go quickly in there and clean that up. So this works very, very nicely. The straight grinder that can be used for something like that. There we go, the straight brushes for the radial bristle brushes for the straight grinder. Now, if I have a more complex part, und Heidi, ich habe dich nicht verstanden. Okay. I have here a more complex part where normally it's going to be very difficult to get into every region to remove the rust on that. So with the straight grinder, I can touch almost everything there. Like this, no problem there, clean up that surface. I can reach that there, which is easy. I can even do this, turn around it, there we go, there, profile. You see, this works very nicely. It allows you to work on complex parts, and this is ideal to show you that. So this is absolutely something where a tool like that is ideal. So another thing that's quite interesting is when we talk about coatings, or in a case like a box like that. Like a box like that, it's always difficult to clean up the welding seams in there. There we go. So to clean up welding seams like the one there, do you see that? All that. And I want to clean that up. This absolutely can be put in there and clean it up nicely. It's just going to be in the tight corners there where you'll find it a little bit more challenging. But to show you that quickly, how that works, because I know a part like that is always a bit of a challenge. And as you can see, this is completely gone. There we go. That's the one that I showed you just before, and there everything is gone now. So these are possibilities you have. And don't forget, that's an 80 grit. And then you say, yeah, but an 80 grit, is that not too aggressive? Let me show you how aggressive it is. really how aggressive it is. For that, to show you that, I have this can. So we have a very thin layer, and I just want to remove. We want to remove just the coating without damaging that part. Then again, I use the same thing. The 80 grit. Look at that. Very easy, no pressure. What do you get? You get a uniform finish, no damages, the coating removed, and absolutely as it should be. These are possibilities that radial bristle brushes will give you. So this is quite interesting what you can do with it. These are the possibilities that you have. Now, another thing that I want to show you is, this is something that I've seen at an end user. Instead of a straight grinder, he used a screwdriver, a battery-operated screwdriver with a big wheel. The 150, he put that on there. There we go. Big wheel there. So he used that for working on stainless steel parts and get them finished. So, okay, let's see. Direction is important, so look at the direction if you work with things like that. Works very nicely, adapts, very flexible. You can play with the speed as well. So everything is gone, and the finish you get, it's very different to see any difference to the rest of the part. So it takes off the coloring, works very nicely with something like that. Application, as I said, seen at an end user. So these are things that are possible with stuff like that. So we have deburring, we have finishing, we have going into profiles, complex parts for machines like that you can be used for something like this. Of course, not to forget, we also have something that can be used on an angle grinder. On an angle grinder, is one of the favorite parts of our studio, is one of this piece of scrap car body. And yeah, I know it's looking a bit, well, worn down completely. So I'm gonna remove a little bit of paint on there, on that well, uneven part there. This is a very uneven surface, and see what we can do. For that, I use an angle grinder with the 36 grit. I'm using a coarse material and going to remove the layers of paint of that part. Reduce speed. Light pressure. Follows the uneven surface, gives a uniform finish, and everything that was on there is removed. So this is something that a product like that can do as well. Then the last thing I want to show you is also the quick change. Quick change, small mini angle grinder, and for that I've chosen something a little bit different. A ventilation part where I want to remove the label there without damaging too much of the workpiece. Again, this machine used at a lower speed, not at full speed. There's no point at working at full speed with that. Light pressure. There we go. Very easy, very quick, and no damage whatsoever to that part. So these are possibilities that radial bristle brushes can give you. So it's a new thing within our range. It's a new thing within our range. It's something that is now being introduced to our different partners. So from that perspective, very, very interesting. There's a question, and in order to that's a good question, because I don't know by heart all the comparisons. We can make a comparison. There's a question concerning what is the difference between our product and a product from 3M BD ZB. So I would have to check the charts in order to give you exactly the same thing from specification. I see there's even a link put onto a website. You will see my email later on. You can send me an email, or otherwise, I see they're already using the snipping tool to take a picture of this, and we will get you an answer later today. Basically, I will send you an answer within probably the next hour. You will get that from me. So, because unfortunately, I do not know everything by heart. I do apologize for that. I'm only human. So, from this side, this is what I wanted to show you. If you do have any other questions, do not hesitate. My email will come up. Send me an email, let us know, or get in touch with our local sales force or through the distributors that we serve you to, and we will help you as good as we can. As I said, this is being introduced as we speak, so this is going to be available at this month. All right. That was it from my side. I would like to thank you very much for joining us. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next time at Tyrolit Tool School. And if all be well, and enjoy the good weather, but drink enough. Drink enough. Important. Drink enough. Okay. You all take care. Be well. Until next time. Cheers. Bye-bye.